Learn English through story. The forbidden whisper of lust. In the heart of a bustling city, where skyscrapers kissed the sky and the streets thrummed with the pulse of life, there lay an inconspicuous cafe tilde copyright named La Vie en Rose. Known only to a select few, it was a sanctuary for weary souls seeking solace from the chaos outside. Inside, the air was thick with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the delicate notes of jazz that lingered like a warm embrace. It was here that Emma found herself on an unassuming Thursday afternoon, nursing a latte and staring out the window as rain drizzled down the glass like tears. Emma was a woman in her late 30s, with chestnut hair that cascaded over her shoulders and deep-set eyes that reflected a world of dreams long forgotten. Life had taken her on a winding journey through marriage, motherhood, and the trials of a career in a corporate world that seemed to demand more than it ever gave. But today, something felt different. Today, an undercurrent of longing pulled at her heart, whispering secrets of desires she had buried beneath the weight of responsibility. As she sat, lost in her thoughts, the door swung open, and a rush of cold air swept in, carrying with it the scent of rain and a hint of something electric. A man entered, shaking droplets from his umbrella. He was tall, with dark hair that fell in tousled waves around his face, and a smile that seemed to light up the room. As he scanned the cafe tilde copyright, his gaze locked onto Emma, and in that moment, the world faded away. His name was Daniel, a freelance photographer with an adventurous spirit and a reputation for capturing beauty in the mundane. He had been drawn to La Vie en Rose by a flicker of intuition, as if fate had nudged him towards this very moment. When he approached Emma's table, the air crackled with an unspoken connection, a magnetic pull that neither of them could ignore. "Mind if I join you?" he asked, his voice smooth and inviting. Emma hesitated for a heartbeat, torn between the comfort of her solitude and the thrill of unexpected company. But the whisper of lust that had been building inside her urged her to take a leap. "Sure," she replied, a hint of excitement coloring her tone. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, like the coffee that warmed their hands. They spoke of art, travel, and dreams, sharing fragments of their lives that felt intimate yet exhilaratingly new. With every laugh, every shared story, Emma felt walls crumbling around her heart, exposing the raw vulnerability she had long hidden. Daniel listened intently, his dark eyes reflecting genuine interest, and in that attention, she found herself unraveling. As the afternoon wore on, the cafe tilde copyright began to empty, leaving them in their own world. It was a world where responsibilities faded into the background, and the possibility of something forbidden loomed large. Emma was aware of the risks. She had a family, a life that required her devotion. Yet, the pull of Daniel's presence was intoxicating, a tantalizing whisper that urged her to abandon caution. "What if we broke and bar met again?" Daniel suggested, a hopeful glimmer in his eyes. Emma's heart raced at the thought. She wanted to say yes, to surrender to the thrill of the unknown, but guilt weighed heavily on her. "I don't know," she said hesitantly. "I have a family." Daniel's expression softened. "I understand. But sometimes, we need to explore the parts of ourselves we've ignored. It doesn't have to mean anything a broken bar unless you want it to." His words hung in the air, heavy with implication. The allure of temptation danced before her like a mirage, shimmering just out of reach. Emma could feel the boundaries of her life blurring, and in that moment, she found herself at a crossroads. As they parted ways, Emma felt a mixture of exhilaration and dread. The whisper of lust had awakened a hunger within her, one she had neglected for far too long. It beckoned her to explore the depths of her desires, to seek fulfillment beyond the confines of her everyday existence. But what would that mean for her marriage, her children, and the life she had built? Days turned into weeks, and their paths crossed again, first accidentally, then deliberately. Each encounter deepened the connection between them, blurring the lines of friendship and something more. They shared stolen moments, secret smiles, and lingering touches that sent shivers down Emma's spine. With Daniel, she felt alive, vibrant, and undeniably desired. Yet, with every thrill came a shadow of guilt that loomed larger. The whispers of lust morphed into a cacophony of conflicting emotions, a passion entwined with shame, longing fused with fear. Emma found herself torn between two worlds, the familiar comfort of her family and the intoxicating thrill of the unknown. As their relationship intensified, so did the stakes. Daniel was everything Emma had yearned for: a spontaneous, adventurous, and unapologetically himself. He challenged her to embrace her desires and encouraged her to break free from the shackles of societal expectations. But with every moment spent in his presence, Emma grappled with the reality of her choices. One evening, they found themselves at a secluded beach, the moonlight casting silver shadows on the sand. The air was thick with unspoken tension, and as the waves lapped gently at their feet, the moment hung between them like a delicate thread. It was then that the weight of their connection became impossible to ignore. "Emma," Daniel began, his voice low and husky, "what are we doing? I feel like we're teetering on the edge of something profound." Emma looked into his eyes, searching for the answer she craved. "I don't know, Daniel. I'm scared. This isn't just fun for me. You make me feel things I haven't felt in years." "Maybe that's the point," he said, stepping closer. "Maybe it's time to embrace those feelings, to stop running from what we want." As he reached for her hand, the world around them faded. Emma felt the heat radiating between them, a fire that threatened to consume everything in its path. The whisper of lust had transformed into a roar, drowning out the voices of doubt and fear. But just as she was about to surrender to the moment, her phone buzzed in her pocket, shattering the illusion. It was a message from her husband, a reminder of their anniversary dinner. The sudden jolt of reality crashed over Emma like a cold wave, pulling her back from the edge. "I can't," she whispered, pulling away. "I have to go." As she hurried away from the beach, tears stung her eyes. The conflict within her raged like a tempest, leaving her feeling hollow and lost. She had tasted the forbidden, and now it haunted her. The very act of stepping back felt like a betrayal, not only to Daniel but to herself. In the days that followed, Emma wrestled with her emotions. Guilt consumed her, intertwining with the yearning that had sparked her connection with Daniel. She threw herself into her family life, determined to ignore the seductive whisper that had awakened her desires. Yet, every time she closed her eyes, she could see him, his smile, his laughter, the way he made her feel alive. Then came the day when fate intervened. Emma received a call from her husband, his voice strained and heavy. "We need to talk," he said, his tone sending chills down her spine. Her heart raced as she listened to him recount a series of unfortunate events, of financial difficulties, job insecurities, and a growing distance in their marriage. They needed to reconnect, to reignite the spark they had lost. Emma felt the familiar pang of guilt. How could she reconcile her feelings for Daniel with her obligation to her family? That evening, as they sat across from each other at the dining table, the weight of unspoken truths hung heavily in the air. Emma's heart ached as she watched her husband, the man who had been her partner through the trials of life. She saw his struggles, his vulnerability, and a part of her longed to protect him, to be the wife he deserved. But the whisper of lust lingered, a haunting melody that refused to fade. Emma was caught in a tempest, torn between loyalty and desire, duty and passion. She needed to make a choice that could change everything. Days turned into weeks, and the tension between Emma and her husband grew. They attended therapy sessions, trying to bridge the chasm that had formed between them. Emma found herself longing for the connection she once had, yet the spark of her feelings for Daniel still flickered within her. Then, one fateful evening, as she stood in front of the bathroom mirror, Emma caught a glimpse of herself, a woman who had lost her way. The reflection stared back, weary and worn, but beneath the surface, she could feel the embers of desire still smoldering. She made a decision that night, a decision to confront her feelings head on. Emma reached out to Daniel, arranging to meet in a quiet park, the very place where they had shared laughter and dreams. The moment she saw him, the world around them melted away. "Emma," he breathed, his eyes searching hers. "I've missed you." "I've missed you too," she admitted, feeling the walls she had built begin to crumble. They talked openly about their feelings, the chaos that had ensued in their lives, and the intoxicating connection that had pulled them together. Emma felt a sense of liberation, a weight lifting from her shoulders as they shared their vulnerabilities. But reality loomed over them like a storm cloud. They both knew the consequences of their desires, the risks they were willing to take. Emma felt the whisper of lust grow louder, a siren's call urging her to abandon caution. Yet, deep down, she understood that the choices they made would shape their futures in ways they could not yet comprehend. As they stood beneath the canopy of trees, Daniel took her hands in his, the warmth of his touch igniting the fire within her. "What do you want, Emma?" he asked, his voice steady yet filled with yearning. "I want to feel alive," she confessed, her heart racing. "But I also want to be true to myself, to my family. I can't hurt them." Daniel's expression softened, understanding the conflict that tore at her heart. "We have to be honest about what we're feeling. I don't want to be the reason for your pain, but I also can't pretend that what we have isn't real." Torn between love and desire, Emma faced a decision that would determine the course of her life. The whisper of lust urged her to embrace the passion that had awakened her, while the voice of reason begged her to consider the consequences. In that moment of reckoning, Emma realized that the path forward was not about choosing between two worlds but finding a way to honor both. It was about understanding that desire was not inherently wrong, it was a part of being human. Yet, with that understanding came the responsibility to navigate her emotions with care, to seek balance rather than absolution. The following weeks were a whirlwind of reflection for Emma. She delved deep into her heart, examining the roots of her desires, the complexities of love, and the nature of fulfillment. The conversations with Daniel shifted from longing to introspection, as they both sought to understand the implications of their connection. Emma began to notice the beauty in her life, the love she had cultivated with her husband and children. She found herself engaging in conversations with her spouse, reigniting the sparks they once shared. They explored new activities together, seeking to reconnect on a deeper level. But the whisper of lust was never far away. Emma found herself drawn to Daniel's presence, seeking moments of solace where they could talk about their dreams, their aspirations, and the ways in which they could grow as individuals. Each encounter held a sweetness tinged with sadness, as the knowledge of their complicated connection lingered like an unhealed wound. As the months passed, the conflict within Emma began to settle. She learned to embrace her desires without allowing them to consume her. She discovered that it was possible to feel passion and still hold space for the love she had nurtured. The boundaries between love and lust became less rigid, transforming into a complex tapestry woven with threads of yearning and connection. Yet, just as she felt she had found her equilibrium, life threw a curveball her way. Emma's husband received an unexpected job offer that required them to relocate across the country. The news sent shockwaves through her, leaving her torn between the life she had built and the possibility of new beginnings. On the one hand, the move represented a chance to start anew, to create a life where the whispers of temptation could be left behind. But on the other hand, it meant leaving behind Daniel, the man who had awakened a part of her soul that she had thought lost forever. As they prepared for the move, Emma reached out to Daniel, their conversations becoming more poignant, tinged with a bittersweet farewell. They met one last time at their park, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and gold. "I don't want to say goodbye," Daniel admitted, his voice heavy with emotion. "I don't want to either," Emma replied, her heart aching. "But I need to take care of my family." Daniel nodded, understanding the weight of her words. "You've done so much for them. You've grown in ways I can't even express. But don't forget to take care of yourself too." As they stood together, the tension between them crackled with unfulfilled longing. Emma felt the familiar pull of desire, but she also recognized the importance of honoring her commitment to her family. She leaned in, capturing the moment in her mind. The sweetness of their connection mingled with the sadness of goodbye. Their lips brushed together in a fleeting kiss, a soft whisper of what could have been. In that moment, Emma felt a rush of clarity. The whisper of lust had been a catalyst for her growth, a reminder of her desires, but it was not the path she would choose. As Emma moved into her new life, she carried with her the lessons learned from her experiences with Daniel. She found strength in her commitments and began to embrace the beauty of the present moment. The whisper of lust transformed into a gentle reminder of the complexities of love, via a reminder that desire was a part of life, but it did not define her. In her new city, Emma poured herself into her family, rekindling the bond with her husband and fostering a deeper connection with her children. She found joy in the mundane moments of family dinners, shared laughter, and the warmth of togetherness. Yet, she also made space for herself. Emma took up photography, channeling her creativity into capturing the beauty around her. She explored the city, documenting its vibrancy through her lens, discovering a new passion that fed her soul. Though Daniel remained a cherished memory, a chapter of her life that had shaped her, Emma understood that her journey was not over. She embraced the lessons learned, allowing them to guide her as she navigated the complexities of love, desire, and commitment. Years passed, and as Emma looked back on her experiences, she marveled at the growth that had stemmed from her encounter with Daniel. The forbidden whisper of lust had not led her astray, rather, it had illuminated her path, revealing the depth of her desires and the importance of honoring her commitments. In the end, Emma found fulfillment not in the pursuit of passion alone but in the harmonious balance between love and desire. She learned to navigate the whispers of temptation with grace, allowing them to coexist with the love she held for her family. And so, in the quiet moments of reflection, Emma understood that the true essence of life lay not in the choices we make but in the journey we undertake. Each experience, each whisper of desire, shaped the mosaic of her existence, a testament to the beauty of being human. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.